This video will cover the topic, solving a linear equation with several occurrences of the variable, variables on both sides, and fractional coefficients. To solve a linear equation with variables on both sides of the equation, we are first going to get rid of any fractions by multiplying all terms by the least common multiple of the denominators. Next, we will group all terms with variables onto one side of the equation, then solve for the variable in question. Here's an example of an equation with variables on both sides. Negative 1/4 u minus 5 equals 7/4 u minus 5/3.
How do I approach this problem? There are terms that contain u on both sides of the linear equation. So how can we solve for u?
In order to solve for u, it must be on only one side of the linear equation. Thus, our goal is to get u by itself on one side of the equation. The first thing we should do to work towards that goal is to get rid of the fractions surrounding it. In order to get rid of the fractions, we must find the least common multiple of the denominators, or LCD for short. Then multiply that value by all terms in the linear equation. For this example, what's the LCD?
The LCD is 12 because the smallest integer that is a multiple of both 4 and 3 is 12.
Exactly. Now we multiply both sides of the equation by 12, remembering to distribute the 12 to all terms in the equation. Applying the distributive property, our equation now reads 12 times negative 1/4 u minus 12 times 5 equals 12 times 7/4 u minus 12 times 5/3. This simplifies to negative 3u minus 60 equals 21u minus 20.
I understand how to simplify the fractions now, but what's the next step?
Next, we need to move all terms with a u onto the same side of the equation. We do this by adding 3u to both sides, which results in negative 60 equals 24u minus 20. Now that all of our variable terms are on the same side of the equation, we can add 20 to both sides to further isolate the variable. Our equation now reads negative 40 equals 24u. Lastly, we divide both sides by 24 to result in u equals negative 40 over 24, which reduces to negative 5/3.
How do we know if that answer is correct?
We can check the validity of our final answer by substituting our final answer for u, negative 5/3, into the original equation, which now reads negative 1/4 times negative 5/3 minus 5 equals 7/4 times negative 5/3 minus 5/3. First, we multiply the fractions to yield 5/12 minus 5 equals negative 35/12 minus 5/3. Then, we can multiply by the least common multiple of the denominators, 12, to result in 5 minus 60 equals negative 35 minus 20, which simplifies to negative 55 equals negative 55. Since this answer is the same constant term on both sides, our value for u is correct.
To solve a linear equation with variables on both sides of the equation, we first simplify any fractions by multiplying all terms by the LCD. Then we solve for the variable by grouping all terms with variables onto one side of the equation, using the rules for solving equations. Next, we divide any remaining coefficients to result in the final answer of the value for the variable. And finally, we can check the validity of this answer by substituting it back into the original equation.
That's right.